And, we had to spend the night. And he was so kind. He gave me his jacket.
Aww.
He had taken a blanket from Kenya Airways. Flag bearers for our country. They're such great ambassadors. I don't think there's any greater ambassador for Kenya than the athletes.
The dinner with champions. Now, Wanjeri, maybe for those who might have missed this event or those who've never attended this event, just briefly talk about what the Boston Marathon dinner with champion is. Just briefly, Wanjeri.
Yeah, so Boston, Run with Champions started about, I think 2009 or 2010 by a guy called Wilson. And the point is for Kenyans and other people who love sports to come and interact with the athletes who run. It started out with just Kenyan athletes, and then the event took a 9-year hiatus, and then it came back. So this is the first year it's come back since 2014, I believe, which was right after the Boston Marathon bombing, which happened in 2013. So it came back this year. And I have to say, I was very, very happy that it's back. I think Wilson has done a great job of, trying to recognize those people, the athletes who are such great flag bearers for our country. They're such great ambassadors. I don't think there's any greater ambassador for Kenya than the athletes that we have. And so to see that event come back and actually much bigger, much better. There was Ethiopians in the event, Ethiopian athletes. There was Tanzanian athletes. And then we have the people who are just running, they're not elite athletes, but they run marathons. So there was a lot of people from all over the world, people from Brazil. We had people from Denmark or the Netherlands. We had people from Australia. We had runners from Japan at the event. So it's such a great event to honor those people, to see them, be in their presence, and also wish them good luck for the race. So I think it's all those things in one. I think it's one of those events that everybody should actually make an effort to go.
Okay, now that's very interesting. You talked about marathoners who are not elite runners, but they just showed up for the event to be in the company of Kenyans and to see the Kenyan elite runners. And you mentioned Brazilians, Australians, Denmark, people from Japan. So there was a very wide range of nationalities in that room. And of course we had the Ethiopian runners who also came too, and definitely Mubelo Bandio will be happy to hear that there was a Tanzanian runner, Gabriel, who was actually there, and we took pictures with him. So it was a very interesting event, very unique. And very interesting. Now, Mike, you had something that you wanted to say.
No, I was going to say, don't forget when the Brazilians were being interviewed, what they said. They said that for them, this is like the mother. What
queen?
Something. The queen.
The queen marathon, right?
Yeah, the queen marathon. Yes. And the ladies. They were ladies.
They were just in awe.
Yeah.
Of being in Boston.
And it was the first time in Boston.
It was the first time in Boston.
And then I think even coming to that event and seeing, and they were black Brazilians.
So
yes, coming and seeing other black folks who are over there, and then these athletes. Yeah.
I mean, it was very amazing, and they also had like a translator, because some of them were not very fluent in English. So it was just a very interesting overall experience all round. Now, Wanjeri, had you attended the previous dinners, or was this your first one?
So I had attended actually the very first event, and I also attended the 2010. And the reason I remember the 2010 event is because I actually had flown with Geoffrey Mutai, who actually holds the record for the Boston Marathon. So he has the fastest time for the Boston Marathon at 2:03 something. But his record is not, he didn't get an award for breaking the record because they called it wind assisted. So that January, Geoffrey Mutai we flew Kenya Airways together, and he was seated next to me. I didn't know who he was, but I could tell he was an athlete. And then our flight got delayed, and we were forced to sleep in benches at an airport in Europe. And so in that whole, he was going for a race in Mexico. And so in that whole process, it was in the winter, it was in January, I was freezing. Okay, you're like at the airport, you've been forced to sleep on the bench. And, we had to spend the night. And he was so kind. He gave me his jacket.
Aww.
He had taken a blanket from Kenya Airways. Okay, because we were forced to sleep into a corner at Charles de Gaulle. I'll never fly through Charles de Gaulle again. So we were forced to sleep at a corner.
You're not alone, my friend. You're not alone.
We are many.
And so Jeffrey was trying to give me his blanket, right? He gave me his blanket, which he had grabbed from the plane, those Kenya Airways blankets. So he gave it to me. He made sure I was warm because I was shivering, and he gave me his jacket. And then the next day we left. He went to Mexico, and I came back to the US. And when he told me his name, he didn't register. But what happened is that April, he came for the Boston Marathon. And as soon as he saw me, he recognized me. So I was so happy. And he's like, we flew together. And he won that race. He broke the record. He still has the best time at the Boston Marathon. And I took pictures with him. And then I went to the next one. And then I think after that, I was just never in the country when the Boston Marathon is gone. Because at times it's around Easter. And I tend to be in Kenya around Easter, right? So I missed a few of them. And that's why I was like, I have to go back for this one. Because it's a first time since probably like 2011. I think that's the last time I attended.